when the lights come down and I leave the stage, it's you that makes it all worthwhile.
Welcome, everybody. My name is Mike Aloia, and you are tuned in to The Direction of the Heart WebTV discussion series with my friend in Christ, Mr. Pete DeLorenzo from New Jersey, and our guest from Tennessee, Mr. Tom Sabella.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Tom. How you doing?
Hey, Mike. Hi, Pete.
How are you, Tom?
I'm doing well.
I read a little bit of stuff and literature that Pete sent me and you sent me, about your career. Tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, your history, where you're at, what you're doing,
okay,
and what you're all about, brother.
All right. Well, it's great. I was brought up in a Christian family. Always wanted to sing. I learned to sing in a church choir. Was never a great singer, but I could carry a pitch and a tune. But I had a brother who was great and a friend who could sing. We spent 22 years together, working side by side. What worked well was they could sing, I was the businessman, and I could promote the group, and I could work the audience, so it worked well. We never had a problem with that. We kind of always knew our place, so that's where we started. I became a school teacher, started a program called Entertainment Marketing and Performing Arts. I wrote the curriculum for the state of Ohio. Had a great time with that. Got a new superintendent who didn't necessarily like me, and one day come in after 22 years and says, "We no longer need your services."
Wow.
The best thing that ever happened to me. The best thing. I was having some heart problems because of the pressure and all that. And I went into the doctor's office the next day and they took my blood pressure and said, "Your blood pressure is perfect. What happened?" I said, "I just got fired from my job. I feel so much better."
Well, God brings us blessings in disguise, and God does wonderful things in many mysterious ways. And Tom, I just want to say, Mike, that Tom and I met through a mutual friend of all of ours, Mr. Dave Perez, who we just interviewed about a week ago. And
Dave's a great guy, man.
2 weeks ago. Yeah, great guy, great talent. And Tom has taken an interest and has been helping Dave. I've been mentoring Dave. Tom has got quite maybe you want to tell him about Joe Mascio, Tom.
Yeah.
A colleague of yours.
I got really lucky coming to Nashville. I've been in Nashville almost 12 years, and I knew I was always supposed to be here. I just, from a young kid coming down here, and it just wasn't the right opportunity. But I moved down, and one of my idols growing up was in the Imperials was Joe Mascio. And as a kid, I used to go to the concerts and wish if I could just stand next to him and talk to him. Yeah. And then I moved to Nashville, and my friend Royce Taylor was with the Stamps Quartet, who was with Elvis also. And one of the first people I met in town was Joe. And he took a liking to me. And he never, ever said, "You can't come to my office." Every time I went there, he was always open to me. And now he calls me, and I call him. And matter of fact, I talked to him this morning. I was supposed to go over to his house, but he's not feeling real well right now. And he's been cut some dementia and things like that. So it's very, very hard. But Joe's been a great guy. So it opened a lot of doors. Nashville is a hard town, obviously, to open up the doors. But with Joe and all the people that he knows, it's just been awesome. I also moved here right outside of Nashville in a little town called Bellevue. And I'm walking through the grocery store one day and I hear somebody calling, "Tommy, Tommy." Well, nobody calls me Tommy. It's just, my real good friends. And here it was, Phil Kagi. I found out that we were neighbors here in Bellevue, but we grew up in the same town. Phil came from Hubbard, Ohio, and that's my hometown in Youngstown, wow, Ohio. So it's a small community with a lot of our good friends here.
Yeah. Well, we all know, right, Mike, that Nashville is the heartbeat of music. I had the honor of being in Knoxville and Nashville. Stood right on that stage in the Grand Ole Opry, and that's where the.
Well, my father's actually in Nashville right now. He's auditioning for a movie.
And some great artists came out.
There's a lot going on out there. Donnie and Johnny Van Zandt have been like brothers to me. They've done quite a bit in Nashville. With Leonard Skinner at 38. I've got Fred, Tricia up in Nashville. I've been there. Beautiful town. But yeah, it's tough, man. The music business is, there's a lot of sharks out there in the tank. A lot of people that, tell you one thing and throw you under the bus at the same token. I've been in the entertainment business since I was 9 years old. and my father's a comedy magician. And I tell you, man, Atlanta is booming.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to come up to Atlanta. I film a lot of web television shows out of Atlanta. And I go up there once a month myself, second week of every month. And we've got a lot of great stuff going on there, Tom. And what we're doing on our network is we're offering opportunity for people that would love to have their own show.
Yeah.
And buy into our network. And there's ways to make revenue with us. Plus, we give you the exposure. We offer opportunity. We offer a way for you to have a presence. I've got a whole people behind the scenes network working to push at us worldwide. We're doing all original programming, and it's all family friendly, and we try to bring the inspiration. I'm producing a lot of shows. This thing me and Pete got started going on with Direction of the Heart has really taken off. Worldwide, people are coming to us. It's a beautiful thing, all in the name of love, peace, and Jesus Christ, and inspiration, and inspiring others, and bringing people together. That's what American Hearts Radio does, bringing the hearts of the world together. And I'm so honored and humbled to have you, Tom, because I know you've got a great career in the music business and entertainment world. And I'd love for you to come to Atlanta and be on one of our shows.
I'd love to do that. We'll have to make arrangements. Nashville's not that far from Atlanta. We could probably do that one day. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Meet my father.
I'd love to. Is he in Atlanta?
Yeah, he lives in Woodstock.
Okay, sure. I have some real good friends that live in Cummings, so I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah, that's not far.
No.
Try again. There are a lot of areas that are booming. Branson, Missouri is getting huge. But Nashville has always been the crux of, heartbeat of music. I mean, Motown is pretty much long gone. But in realm of...
No, Pete, Motown's not long gone. The Redneck Muslim spins Motown every Saturday on American Arts Radio.
Not that it's long gone, but I'm saying the heyday of what came out of Motown and all the great artists, it's not what it was. I mean, the artists that came out of there was phenomenal. But Detroit is... it's sad. I mean, it's kind of gone downhill from what it originally was. Whereas, Knoxville, Branson, Missouri, a lot of areas where you got not just country music, which is the heartbeat of, I think, the origin of all, rock and roll stemmed from country and folk music. Elvis, who was always one of my major inspirations from a child, that I love him and loved him, loved music, and was a big influence on my music and my style of writing, singing. Elvis was a poor kid from Memphis, but bottom line, he worked hard, and Joe worked with he was the founding member of the Imperials, and he was a VIP with BMI for years, and that man has a huge background, and Mike, I just wanted to get this out off my heart. Kind of emotional. It's been an emotional week for a lot of us, a lot of personal things. But within the last month, and Tom, you knew this when we talked on the phone, and Mike, you and I talked too, that I would say in the last month, we're talking about people that we looked up to, people that had an impact on our life. And maybe we could get in a little bit in this segment about mentoring and how our lives touch others and others touch our lives, such as Tom, you're trying to help Dave, and I'm trying to help Dave and Mr. Dave Perez. But, I lost in this last month 3 people that were major in my life, and that was my mentor, Mr. Joe Franklin, an icon in the industry of radio and television. He invented and came up with the concept of what we know as talk radio and talk television. He put Johnny Carson on the map. He groomed him and put him on the map and handed him the Tonight Show. And Joe was the man that discovered me and virtually launched my career. He believed in me, and that was a great loss. Then I lost my landlord, who was like a second dad, wonderful man, Mr. Mike Russo. And then just recently we lost Mr. Benny King, who I was extremely close with and had the extreme honor of working with many, many times. I first met Benny in New York City during the 1990-91, the first Gulf War. Met General Schwarzkopf, and we did a big show for the troops. And, and he was with the Drifters. When I worked with him the very first time, the original Drifters, and then there were several times after that I worked solo with Benny, and even had the honor of at the Belsky Museum here in New Jersey that Benny founded, which was a fund to help other musicians and people in the arts. And I came out for that fundraiser, and he and I I performed my song for him, and he paid me a high compliment. And worked with him so many times. He was a complete gentleman, as we all know, and a phenomenal talent. And I had him attached to my film, and now he loves it.
I tell you what, Pete, you're a very blessed man. And it seems as though I'm sitting here thinking about a lot of things. And you've got three guys right here that have all three led very blessed lives.
Yes.
The
Very
music
much.
business, the entertainment business has brought people together. It's an encouraging business. There's a lot of people that help pull a lot of people up out of and say, hey, I see something in you, And that's, I believe, a lot of people have done that for all of us, and we are blessed people. I wouldn't be where I'm at for the Lord without my faith in Jesus Christ and the people that have believed in me and the visions that they've had. I've been able to express my visions and let them be part of something. That's what we are. We're part of something.
And that was my point.
And I believe this, Pete. I believe that the Lord works through people, and He brought us all together for a reason.
I was just going to say, that was my point. Is that, the way I was talking about those gentlemen, you said I was blessed. Yes, I am, and we're all blessed to have certain people in our lives. But God brought us together right here and now. Tom, you.
Yeah. I've only known Peter for a week, and I feel like I've known him for 10 years. It's a God thing. It's a connection. And that's one important thing about the music business is the relationships. People don't understand it, and I shouldn't have to explain it. It's all about relationships and the people that you befriend and who they are. But that's what it is. It's a relationship.
I wish the world could come together like a band.
Yeah.
Because a band is a family. A band comes together. The musicians, we all come together to create that sound, to create that vibe. And that's what I believe this network is doing. We are creating a vibe and a sound and becoming a voice out there. And, I pray every day, man, for all those people that are hurting, are lost, have no direction, and trying to find their heart. They're in dark places where they feel as if there's no way out. A lot of people are taking their own lives. There's a lot of crazy stuff and chaos going on in this world. And if we can become some type of beacon of light to say, hey, man, come on, we want to hear what you got.
That's what we got to do.
Don't stay isolated. You're not alone. That's the thing.
I'm sure you'll agree with the years of experience you have too, sir, that Tom and Mike, you hit it on the head when you said if we could only be like a band. And on that note, we know that there's personality conflicts or, maybe an arrangement of a song or this or that.
Not in bands. They don't have personality conflicts. No.
No, never. I was for 10 years. We had no problem.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. It's like a marriage.
Had some cobwebs there and problems, and every band has gone through it. The Eagles, but many of them, most of them, I would say, work their way through that because if there's that cohesiveness.
Bands have been through tragedy.
Working together of one mind and heart and the music. And so if the world, Mike, like you said, could do that, man, what a better world it would be.
Well, the music is what keeps them together, man. The harmony. The harmony is what kept Def Leppard together. That music. When he lost his arm. The Leonard Skinner crash. All those members are still out there, man. The ones that are surviving, the ones that came on board. They keep that legacy and voice going. Right. And, I'm hoping after I'm dead and gone that this network will continue to become a legacy and a brand and a beacon of light and inspiration. And that's what the direction of the heart is. When I created this, I wanted to bring something that would be powerful, create a logo, create a name. And, when it happened, I couldn't believe that the domain wasn't registered. I was like, oh, cow, here I go. I said, thank you, Lord. It's a calling.
God registered it for you. And, when you spoke about harmony, and Tom, I'm sure you'll agree, the harmony is not just the notes in the music because, instrument is off. If one note is off, it causes discord and it throws everybody off. But we're talking about the harmony of the mind and soul as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then everything falls in place.
When I was teaching school, I used to tell my students, there's no greater high than being in front of an audience and know that it's clicking. And you got guys behind you, and you're not really talking to each other, but that harmony of the chords, the harmony of the music, and there's nothing like it. And that's what we need to strive for. That kind of harmony is what we need to do.
You just brought back a memory, Tom. When I was in a heavy metal hard rock band for 10 years. I was a bass player and screamer for the Which One group. All right. And when, it was when that adrenaline was hitting and that energy and it was popping and it was coming through and all of us were feeling it at the same time. That's that feeling we got to bring to this world in America for all of us to feel that energy of positivity.
But see, we're looking
wipe out this negative chaos, wanting to kill us and chop our heads off and going, having riots out there in Maryland. I mean, come on.
Well, the thing of it is, what the world is about now is it's about me. And you and I and Peter are talking about harmony. The world is all about me. What can you do for me? Well, that's not the way it is. It's not.
And Tom, that's the problem. This is what I've been discussing with the UN. And Mike, we discussed this on past shows, is that, the harmony. And, the world, when we walk out that door, seems so complex. There's things out of our control, like sickness, death, things like that, the weather. But there are so many things that are within our control, and it's not that complex. People complex.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right. It's not that hard. It's not that complex.
Yeah, people complex it with what you just said, Tom. They make it complex because it's about money, power, greed, fighting and discord, and like Mike just said, everybody wants to punch somebody in the nose, chop somebody's head off. If people could just learn, and I told this to delegates at the UN, if they could just learn, like Jesus said, suffer, let the little children come unto me. Be as these little children. Have that same mind. So if they can learn to be like little kids and play nice on the playground and share and get along, wow, what a better world.
Yeah, what a better world.
Look at an innocent child and see how easy it is to love.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, I got a question for you.
Okay.
If you had one question to say to somebody out there that's viewing this show, one inspirational message that you could give them, and if they're down and out and they think that there's nothing, life's over, man, what would that message be to let them know that they have a purpose in their life?
Simple. Never give up. Never give up. Little quick story. We had a flood here in Nashville 5 years ago yesterday. We got 18 inches of rain in 2 days. 3 months before that, we lost our condo in a fire. My wife and I burned down, nothing left. 3 months later, a flood comes by. We were devastated.
You got hit like Job in the scripture.
Yeah, but here's how God works. And we never gave up. We just kept striving. God sent the fire before the flood because he knew we didn't have any flood insurance.
Yeah.
So our house was being rebuilt through insurance. And God, he was so far ahead of us. He just knows. So you got to keep it together. God knows it. Though we were struggling, we never gave up. Don't ever let anybody steal your dream. Just keep going.
How long have you been married, Tom?
12 years.
12 years. God bless you.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Tom, a thought triggered off that when things like this happen and travesty, God tests our faith. But you notice that when tragedy or travesty hits, if our faith is in God, He hits us back tenfold and lifts us right back up.
And we thought how bad it was and everything, but now we look at it as we got a whole brand new home. The plumbing, the wiring, the painting is exactly the way we wanted. My friend Tommy Craig built these. He's a master carpenter. Built these. It's awesome. God knew. Okay, He's in charge of our lives. So whatever you're struggling with, never give up.
Let him in to charge of our lives. People shut him out.
I'd like to bring up another topic, and we were talking about relationships, and relationships within a band, within a business, and within personal selves. It sounds to me like you've got a wonderful wife that has stuck by you through the hardest times. I was married 20 years, man. I lost my wife and children, and had a drug addiction. Went out. I ended up behind bars and became homeless. I've told this story before. And, I relationships with yourself and with the Lord are most important in my life. And I believe that a lot of guys out there don't know how to have relationships, as if a lot of women don't either. They don't really understand that what a relationship and true love really is.
It's amazing. This is my second marriage. Obviously, I was married before that, and I have an adult son who came through a terrible addiction. Drugs, alcohol. I don't know what happened. Just running with the wrong people. But you know something? I never gave up on him. He's been clean. He's been clean now for 16 months, working hard, and I see him maturing and growing because I knew that every night that I laid down by my bed and prayed for him, that God was in charge. So I never gave up on him. So I understand that. I never did drugs or alcohol myself, but I lived it through with him. God is real. He doesn't forget us. He's real.
You gave a testimony of what you went through, and each one of us, Tom, like yourself, I never did any drugs or had any problems with alcohol, things like that. But, you know, we go through, I'm a very sensitive and emotional person.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch the news and I cry over what other people are going through, you know? So, you know, I feel for them. I feel for them.
Me too, brother. You ain't alone.
You know, you see what I'm saying? We're all on the same page. But, Tom, you know, God is there if we let him in. And, Mike, you had a good point that whether it be in business, whether it be in personal, and I found, and it goes with both genders, male or female, but if a person's going to shut God out, if they're going to feel sorry for themselves, if they're going to carry what others did to them their whole life, or if they're self-inflicting pain upon themselves and can't rise above it, that it's foreign to them when people show them true love. It's foreign to them. They don't get it. They can't comprehend it. And it's sad because, you know, and I think of, and I brought this out, that, you know, you keep trying and you walk the extra mile, but if a person doesn't self-search and is not willing to let the light in and let God in, their life is just going to be a train wreck their whole life.
They'll never, without Christ, there is no light at the end of the darkness. There's no way. You have to have him guiding you, especially in this world today. We need a positive thing in our lives, and that's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no other way around it.
And you know, we are vessels of his peace and love.
And you know, Tom, I grew up in the Catholic religion, went to Catholic high school, ended up getting thrown out by a priest because I got drunk with the girls from St. Francis. You know, Mom and Dad weren't real happy about that. So, you know, but, you know, I grew up with my cousins were bikers. There was, you know, rough neighborhoods. And, you know, I led a wild life, but I also, I actually learned a lot of street smarts. And,
you learn
to take that, a lot of it to me, I feel that I've been through in my life is like basic training for what God has in store for me. And the doors that I've been going through lately have just been, sometimes I got to pinch myself and the people that we're meeting, you know, as you yourself. And it's such an amazing journey. And I tell you, you've been an inspiration to me just by talking to you. You remind me of my dad, because my dad stuck by my side through my hardest times, and I'd love for you to meet him. I think you and him would get along really well, and it's a blessing to work with my father. And there's so many.
That's going to happen. I believe that. Well,
I tell you, Tom, and also, you know, you say you've been married twice. You know, I'm a type of man that loves a family. I'm going over a recent breakup with my girlfriend for 3.5 years, and her son, there was an attachment there. So, you know, I'm a human being. I feel that emotion. I feel that pain. I feel that sorrow. I take what I feel, and, you know, sometimes you go crazy in your mind and blame yourself, and you got guilt and all this stuff going through your head, but you still have to maintain your business. You still have to maintain your priorities, your responsibilities. And I think that's where a lot of people, where it gets into where it's all about strength. And people need strength, inner strength, and through that light and through Jesus Christ. And that's where I get my strength to carry on and to turn it all around into something positive. Like I write my column every month, Walk the Turtle.
Mike, on that note, we could do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And on that note, you and I can...
Amen. That's my favorite verse.
Yeah, one of mine too. And
that is.
All things can be done. All things are possible with God. When it comes to things like that, you know, everybody goes through things, and I can relate, Mike, that, see, we can become self-righteous in our own eye. If you become adamant, you're always right, everybody else is wrong. But, you see, if a person is honest with themselves, be true to thine own self, if you self-examine and say, look, if I gave this every inch, if I gave this the extra mile, and if that other person can't see it for whatever odd reasons, then there is no guilt. There is no guilt. Because we can't walk around thinking, oh, well, I could do no wrong and I'm perfect. No. But you cannot carry guilt if you know in your heart and before the eyes of God you did everything possible to do the right thing. And if that person's not getting it, or if that person has pushed it away, same as God does. If we push him away, he's there for us. But if we push him away, you know, God helps those who want to help themselves.
Hey, Tom, I know you've been around the block. You know the business. You've seen things, and lived a dream. And a lot of people, you know, we've been blessed with that. A lot of people look at me and say, "Wow, I can't believe you know this, doing that, doing that." I'm just doing what God created me to do, and it's so simple. Once you know what you want and know where you're headed and know what's going on, And, I just feel so humbled and blessed to have this meeting with you now. And I'd actually like to go ahead and make this a special and go an hour, because there's a lot of stuff I'd like to talk about with Tom.
We can do that. Whatever you want. I can talk. There's no problem about it. There's a lot of things.
Give us some insight about what you're doing now. What's your position in the music industry?
Okay.
And where you're headed, and what are the artists that you're helping right now?
Okay. Well, my main thrust was I wrote a book, which I used my lesson plans from the school, and it's entitled "Don't Get Taken, Take Control." And I'm here to help musicians from getting taken. You said it earlier. How many sharks are out there? I got a chapter in the book, Don't Feed the Sharks. Okay? They're out there. The unfortunate thing is I get so many calls from people that they've already spent the money and wasted it. They spend $15,000, $20,000 and got nothing in return. And that's just wrong, and that's what I want to help. So what I have is I have a podcast called The Business Side of Music, and that was promoted just for my book. Well, what the neat thing about it was it started getting 20 listeners, 30 downloads, 50 downloads. We're up to a little over 300,000 downloads in 136 countries. So that's just the exciting part of it. And that's what I'm just here. My passion is to help these artists. Like we say, Nashville is a tough town, and they're always coming down here. These young kids come down here, and they end up starving to death because, one, they don't have the drive, the work ethic, and they don't have the talent.
They run into the wrong people.
They run into the wrong people. I run into people that they say, "Well, I know Phil Kagi," because they know I know Phil Kagi. When they say, "Well, I can play that lick like that," well, you could play it, but he invented it. Okay, so that's what you got to come up with. You got to come up with that unique thing of your own, and quit being a copycat and following everybody else. And that's how I met David Perez. I was part of a Nashville Rising Star contest, and I go there and I don't ever say anything to anybody. I don't usually talk to them. I just do my scoring, and it's over with. But when I walked out of there, I knew Dave had something to say from the stage. When he sang the song, he had a couple different chords, and he had something in his voice that I felt it was different. So walking out to the parking lot, he was there with his son and his wife, and a little small voice in my head said, "Go over and talk to those people." And that was God opening up the doors, and I made a great friend, and I'm helping him keep him. Dave has got more energy. I wish I could sap some of his energy. He's got more energy than I could possibly have.
Very energetic.
Man, he just.
Sometimes he's even a little overzealous. You got to be.
No, not Dave. No.
Dave's got a lot of passion, man.
Tom, you hit on a good point. Yeah, and that happens anywhere. So there's going to be, and when I've coached people in the industry, I've told them, follow up and commitment. Okay.
Yeah.
Discipline yourself. You have to be focused. Don't expect nobody to do it for you and come and take you by the hand and walk you to the school bus and cut your sandwich in little corners and pin a handkerchief under your sleeve. But when you get someone, such as yourself, Tom, or others that have that eye, have that vision, have the ear, and can pick up on an artist and say, there's something unique.
Yeah.
There's something I can work with.
God has given me something that I can hear a song in the first 15 seconds and know whether it's got it or not. I mean, I don't have any hit songs. I can't say that, but I know what sounds good, and I can help people if I just get to the right step.
Tom, you and I know that's what many A&R departments bypass.
Yeah.
Stars that later became, artists that later became huge stars. And they passed it off, and then later they kicked themselves in the butt because, they didn't have the vision or the ear.
So that's why A&R departments are going by the wayside nowadays. The record industry. Let me make a statement here. Just a personal statement. The record industry has no clue what's going on. Everybody's looking for that record deal. They haven't learned to shift their paradigm to streaming and everything else that's going on. It's greed. Okay, it's greed, and they're gonna kill themselves. I've met some music executives that haven't figured out how to answer their email yet. So how are they going to figure out the internet? It's crazy. Mike,
let me tell you, Tom, and you know what? You put a point on there. I had a vision, okay? And just like you said, when God popped it in your head to walk over that person and talk to him, I get those too. I think the Lord puts these things in our minds. It's up to us to react. And a lot of people, I receive. And it took me a long time to understand that I'm receiving messages, and when it all came so clear to me in my mind, what I wanted to do is I was so excited, so passionate. I called my father. He's like, slow down, son. He said, one step at a time. He says, you got all kinds of this stuff. You know, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, Dad, it's this internet radio thing. And then, you know, this and that. We got to do this. We got to do that. But anyway, we took it one step at a time. And when this web television thing came out, I met with my partner, Al Burrows. He's a sound engineer for the SOS band. He's been touring with them for years. He's up in Atlanta. And he turned me on to this, man, with Mimi Johnson, her arts reporter show that I was on. So I got with Al. I said, man, there's something here, brother. And he says, I know it, and I'm waiting for the right person to figure it out. What the hell are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
And so that's what I did is I said, well, hell, you can't get into big networks. A lot of them don't want to talk to you. It's like going through, I'm going to make my own network.
Yeah.
I'm going to produce my own original web television shows. I'm going to promote people. I'm going to promote artists. I'm going to get out there. We're going to have original shows. And I said, okay, Dad, we're going to start your show, Keeping It Real. Okay, my father was interviewing everybody, business people. He had a guy from D-Day in World War II that parachuted. He's had cops on his show. He's had people that are making a difference in communities. And it came together. We met Dan Glazer through Jerry Farber. Jerry couldn't make it. He said, hey, call Dan. I'll get him on the show. Now Dan's bought into our network. We're on the 3rd season of Comics on Parole. We've had so many comedians, and it's been in Hollywood, are in major motion pictures right now. Many people. Atlanta's like Hollywood of the South right now. It's booming. And all
you're in the right spot. You're switching because I did something about a month ago that made me so happy. I cut Comcast out of my life on television. Only thing I have is Comcast Internet. I was spending money on television. We're not watching it. What a waste. Yeah, I bought a Roku. I bought a Roku box and I watch things on YouTube. I'm watching independent things that you're making. That's where it's at. So you are definitely on the cutting edge of the right direction. People want this.
We produce commercials for companies, businesses, service, promotional videos for entertainers, clubs, and we are. And I thank the Lord. And Donnie Van Zandt always told me, Mikey, it's all about timing. Yep. And the timing's now. Because 5 years ago, the technology wasn't there. And it wasn't affordable. And I thank God for the people of the network with Bruce Shepard, Pete DeLorenzo. We all see a vision. Sarah, they're computer geeks, man. And they're the ones that, people that understand the business and understand how the whole internet works. Yeah. It is growing at such a tremendous rate.
Well, technology is amazing. And I have to say, and nothing against Hollywood, but, even with my major motion picture, I'll give you an example. This has been years in the making and now extremely close. But you will find the biggest of stars, and including moi, we all have our own production companies. Years ago, MGM, Warner Brothers, all the studios used to finance the films. Mm-hmm. Today, they do not anymore. And if you get with a distributor like I've been with New Line, Lionsgate, so many different ones, and they will give you what they call a deal memo, which is the bookends, Oh, yeah, we'll finance it and we'll distribute it. But then they want to take total control in most cases. And, we'll change the script here or there. We'll put some sex and violence in. We'll recast certain people. No, because the passion. It's not about the money. I could have sold the script out. Gene Cogan, who was my publicist, who grew up with Mel Brooks, okay? And he told me, he says, Pete, this is a wonderful film, a beautiful film, and it's going to get made. It's your first film. He says, it has to get made. He says, but you know what? He says, you could easily sell this out for a nice piece of change. But I was not going to sell it out because of the passion. And much of what's in there is reality, what happened in my real life. There is some fiction blended in, so it's to entertain, but it's supposed to enlighten and touch the mind and the heart and motivate people to think and feel. In that note, that's why I would not. And I through my own production company, and you will find that now in the industry, and Tom, I'm sure you know this as well, is that all the funds for all the movies you see coming out through Hollywood, all right, indies as well, all right, are funded from India, the UK, China, all over. And then you'll see distribution through, a lot of different distribution companies, whether it be the Weinsteins or whoever. But, artists have done films on shoestring budgets. A good example is the film Bobby. which was done about Bobby Kennedy, and Emilio Estevez shot that in 38 days, which was like unheard of, on a shoestring budget. And he's a big star, and so is his father. And he had his father in there, Martin Sheen, Demi Moore, Sharon Stone, Sir Anthony Hopkins. I mean, huge stars. They shot it on a small budget because those stars knew they were going to make out on the back end. And that's how most of your films are being done today. Even the film Ray, about an icon. Come on, Ray Charles. And that was waltzed all over Hollywood by its producer, and he couldn't get it funded.
Yeah.
Philip Anschutz, who built the, I believe it's the Kodak Theater or whatever, he opened his checkbook and said, "Are you kidding me? This is a phenomenal movie about Ray Charles."
Well, brother Mel Gibson with Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ, yep.
Point. See, Mel Gibson, Clint Eastwood, and Tom Cruise are three people that do put their money into not only their own films, but every now and then, once in a while, into someone else's. But throughout Hollywood, you will very, very, very rarely see that done. You know? It's
a strange industry, man, but I tell you what, it's a very rewarding industry, and you sure learn a lot.
Well, I learned a lot from hands-on experience, you know. Look, and I say this humbly, established. This June, I'm honored 44 years in show business, okay? But I established as a comedian, an impressionist, an actor, and a recording artist. I was a new kid on the block as a screenwriter, producer, and director. And in the last 15 to 20 years, I learned a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
You're a great guy, Pete. I love you, man.
You're saying it right. You gotta keep learning, and that's what it is.
You got to be a sponge, and you learn, and you know, God. Helen Keller coined the phrase that God gave us 2 ears to listen more than we speak. And I would talk to other. I talked with Mel Brooks. I talked with other producers, and I talked Keith Dorrington, who was a first-time writer like myself, and he did The Fighter. Was on the phone with him, and you know. I always sat there humbly saying, well, who am I? Little me. You know, first movie. Oh, yeah, you know. Yeah, they're going to go, yeah, okay, yeah, we know you as a comedian. You wrote this movie. What's it? You see what I'm saying? So I looked at it realistically. You got to look like on the other side of the desk. But then, Tom, like you said, there's also those with the fangs and the claws that right away want to get in there and take control, or the BSers and the talkers and the procrastinators and the do-for-me's. So I had to very, very carefully weed out. With God's direction, who to trust and who not to, and who to break bread with and who not to.
I'd like to ask Tom, what's your direction here for the future, Tom? What do you see happening with company and with all these artists that you're starting to represent?
Well, I have a really good friend, Vinny Rebus, who has a company called Indie Connect, and I've been working with him. And we were doing the same thing on top of each other, so we just merged yesterday, and he's becoming a writer for my show, and I'm going to start doing some educational series together. So what I'm trying to do is just continue to be in the education business, because at heart I'm a teacher, and I'm going to help Vinny, and he's going to help me get to these artists to learn the music business. So that's what we're doing right now.
So Tom, you're basically just managing people that are in the music industry.
Well, I've gotten away a little bit. I have still 3 people that I manage, but I don't do a lot of managing now because of the internet with the podcast shows. My co-host Tracy Snow and we were only doing the show. We've been doing it for 7 years. We were doing it once a month. Now we're doing it once a week. So that's taking a lot more of my time with editing, and you know, it's kind of a one-man show. I'm doing it all here myself.
It's very hard to manage more than one entity. You know, when you got one artist like the Colonel had Elvis is one thing. You know, but when you got 2 or 3, it's hard to cut up your attention for them. But I'm saying, are you just handling people in the music industry, or are you handling people outside of that?
No, just in the music industry. And what I've turned my way over to, I'm more of a mentor to them. I'm more of a guidance to them than I am a manager, because a lot of these people just don't have the money to have someone full-time manage them. But my heart is still to want to help them. And so I become a consultant and help them on a needed basis.
Yeah, a consultant and an advisor. And also, I mean, if you took them on as a manager, you could always do it on a commission basis, you know?
Yeah.
And most artists, when they're trying to climb and on the rise,
and that's one thing that when you're talking about managing someone, that's the other thing is make sure before you ever do anything with anybody that you have an attorney at your side to read that contract.
And an entertainment attorney.
An entertainment, yeah, not somebody that sells real estate and a real estate attorney, or your accountant, or your grandmother, or your aunt or uncle. That's how. And then, you then I hear people say, "Well, I don't have money for an attorney." You can't afford not to. because you're going to get taken, and you know, a couple grand that you to pay your attorney will save you a couple $100,000.
Well, I got a great attorney, Matthew Schwartz, out of Atlanta, man.
Yeah.
He's a great entertainment attorney. He's helped me, and he's a friend of the family. And
one of the main people I hooked up with was Greg Seneff from Nashville. He was the Gospel Music Association attorney, and him and I are buddies today. He's a good attorney. I mean, I was in a recording session one day at the Quick Store, and the guy was ticking me off that was engineering it. And I walked out of the studio, and I called my attorney. I said, "Is he allowed to do that? I mean, this is right." He said, "Calm down, Tom. What's going on? You're way overboard on here."
You and I know, and Mike, I'm sure you know this too, is that before you sign on that dotted line, you always read the fine print, and then you put it in front of a reliable, responsible, knowledgeable entertainment attorney.
Absolutely.
You know what to look for, and this is what I've always, when I've guided and coached people, is know the do's and don'ts of the industry, what to look for, what to stay away from. And that's why the door swings both ways. But before you sign on that dotted line, and I advised David of this long ago, is always read that fine print and get an entertainment attorney, even if he takes you on contingency, which most of them won't. Right. But, you know, get an attorney or you're signing your life away.
One other thing I tell my artists is shut the television off. Quit watching American Idol, Voice, they are reality television shows, okay? Your chances of being number one on that show are slim to none. Go study the business. Practice your guitar. Go get a voice lesson somewhere and forget watching television. They're wasting their time doing it.
Tom, I got a comment on that one. I definitely have to comment on that one.
I knew I'd catch some kind of nerve on that one.
No, I agree with you partially on that. That television is a means that we've had for many, many years, and before the internet. And I know I watch the news. I'm making movies, and I'm on TV, so, you know, and I say that humbly. But, you know, for me to sit down, I'll watch a good movie now and then, but I watch the news, things like that. I try to keep up on things. And there's a few shows I'll watch, but I don't have the time. A lot of times right here in my office, I'll have the TV on in the background. But, you know, what I'm getting at is shows like you mentioned, The Voice, American Idol, shows like that, America's Got Talent. I have to say this from the heart. In some ways, it has launched some talent. You see, even if they didn't win, they wind up down the road, somebody picks up on them and says, that, you know, that was a good actor, that was good talent. And, you know, they might, down the road, get picked up from a show like that because they're getting national exposure. But I will say this. In most cases, those shows, not like way back, the Ted Mack Hour and shows like that, this show, now I'm showing my age, but bottom line, these shows are very political. They are scripted. They are scripted, like The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Absolutely.
Actress that was on my film.
It's reality television. It's scripted.
Reality, it's so far from reality. I had an actress, just to give a point, that was on my film project. Then she kind of drifted off. She was very talented, very beautiful young actress. And she was on The Bachelor. And they instructed all of them that they could not contact their family, took away their cell phones. They were scripted out that when she had to cry at the drop of a hat, and that she was going to get handed the flower, and she was going to be omitted, and let her. So it was like all scripted out. And people are watching this thinking it's gospel truth. So when they're watching Idol, there is some merit, I will give that, to some of those shows. But
there was a girl on the west side here in Jacksonville.
It's all political and scripted out.
It's crazy.
But anyway, that's reality TV is it, man. I remember when I'm still love the Gilligan's Island, the Honeymooners, the old, stuff like that. And I'd like to bring back that type of nostalgia. I'm a character actor.
Cable that they're running all of these shows now because that's what.
Well, I tell you, man, everybody, there's a show everywhere, and people want to be heard, want to express themselves, and that's where I'm an outlet for actors and people that want to host shows and have their own show and have guests and be that Merv Griffin or be whatever you want to be, as long as we keep it family friendly. And I tell you, man, American Hearts Radio is blowing up. I mean, I'm working for the CEO of the universe, so I can't go wrong. It's all built on faith. I had no money. I didn't know how the hell I was going to do this. I asked the Lord, bring me to soldiers, bring me to generals. And that's what, we were talking about also watching the news. There's a lot of stuff going on in the news. And me and Pete hit on this topic almost every show. And I'd like to get your feedback a little bit, Tom. where's our solution to help stop this terrorist organization from infiltrating our country? Right now there's ISIS camps right on the border of Mexico, right outside of Texas. We've got Yemen is under siege right now. We've got Israel that's being surrounded and facing possible destruction. We've got so much, Saudi Arabia's involved in the war. We've got Iran bringing battleships in. We're living in some pretty strange, crazy times right now, man.
Well, what I think,
and people are freaking.
We've been hearing this for years and years, but you understand end times. I believe we're really, really close because all these things you're talking about
yes, sir,
are falling in line of what Revelation tells us.
We've been discussing this week after week on the show that we're living in the last days, and this is prophecy being fulfilled.
And I think what we have. We have terrible leadership. We have nobody that has any balls to do anything. Okay, it's all political. We're going the wrong direction, and everything that we see, we're going the wrong way. And God, I know God's timing. He's ready to take us home. And I know the amazing thing is that makes me feel confident when anybody says, "Are you afraid of death or what's going to happen next?" No, because I know where I'm going, and I'm so happy it doesn't bother me. It doesn't affect me.
You and I talked about that on the phone. We spoke that Jesus said, "Look up, rejoice. Look up, for your redemption draweth nigh."
For your redemption draweth nigh. Yep.
Who's going to rejoice about people being? But what he meant was know that he gave the signs and know that I am coming back. I am even at the door. We know not the day nor the hour, but he is coming back. Now, on that note, all of these things you just said. See, the government, our government, and other governments have strayed so far in taking God out of everything, and this is why these things are rampant in the world. And Jesus said this will come to pass as no man has seen, no, not since the beginning of time, and we are witnessing it.
Yep.
And that we are very fortunate enough.
My heart fears for the people who don't know Christ, and that's a sad part. So that's why I want to be a light. I want to be an encouragement to the artists, the people, this show, you. If I can enlighten somebody, and then I got a quick story I have to tell you, because we're talking about fathers, and Mike brought that up. My dad, I hope I can live the legacy that he had. I told you that I went through a divorce. My dad never gave up on either one of us. He never gave up. He left a fund for my son because he knew that he was going to get clean to help him get his son. My dad was that far ahead, but he was in tune with God all the time. If we can be that, that's what we need. We need those kind of fathers to guide us. But my question is, where are the fathers? Where are the fathers of these kids? We don't know. They don't even know. So that's a problem.
Your dad's footsteps now, and you are living out that legacy, and you're carrying it to others, and that's what it is. That we pass the baton. When we're long gone, we want to pass that baton on to someone else to carry the love and the legacy.
Yeah. And that's what my dad always shared, the love, and it's amazing. When he passed away, I thought I was strong almost 2 years ago.
You know what's lacking?
It was tough to go through that.
I'll tell you, Tom, I know what it's lacking right now. It's lacking love and devotion.
Yeah.
There's no devotion to each other. There's no devotion to family values. There's no devotion to couples, to each other and to each other's hearts. Mm-hmm. I just went through a real bad breakup, man. I helped raise her son for 3.5 years. Jacob, I was the only thing he knew as a father figure.
That's my grandson's name.
And for me to be cut out completely and like I'm nothing, that feeling is not good, man. Especially, there's no devotion there to try to work things out and try to come together. People say things to each other out of love and compassion and stick it out with relationships. But it's terrible because I've got 2 daughters. They went through the divorce. There was a separation there. And now I'm trying to make up time with my daughters. I'm a grandson now, but I have devotion to them. I have devotion to my ex-wife. Sure. And, there's so much that comes in play of us just being human beings. I believe that a lot of people don't understand really what it is and how to separate that and control that. And that just comes with wisdom and age.
Again, and again, Mike, you and I discussed this many times, and we discussed it on show, off the air, is that the reason for that, and I'm not playing psychiatrist or psychologist here, but it's plain horse common sense, is that the reason for that is if you take someone, and I wrote a whole piece on this, and we talked about it on a former show, that, a child's character is formed in the very tender years from the time they're born to like up to 5 years old. Their character, their personality is already formed from surroundings around them. So therefore, you know, if they never knew or were shown or were in an environment full of, it is foreign to them, and it's almost so hard for them to comprehend it later in life when it is shown to them. That's why they can't get it.
I'll tell you another thing.
They will if they let the love in, if they let God in, and then let others in that truth.
Well, I think people need to stop hurting each other, man. And words hurt. Words are terrible. I had a girl I thought that was the girl of my love of my life. I'm going to be with this woman the rest of my life. And all of a sudden, I come to find out her belief system tells her that anybody is replaceable.
Right.
Now,
well, Mike, would you say
that is the most arrogant thing I've ever had somebody tell me after I've spent 3.5 years of my life with them. Everybody's replaceable.
A lot of people,
and it's such a replaceable society.
Yeah,
that's it. There's no value to life.
There's no value to love, devotion, commitment, to be in harmony with each other. Just like the world needs to be. We need to come together, man. There's devote each other to humanity and to who we are as people on this earth.
Well,
I don't know the solution to get there. I'm hoping that this program could possibly be some type of light to some soldier that's brainwashed in Yemen somewhere. I don't know.
The scriptures are always our compass, our guide, okay, our roadmap. And right there in the scriptures, the Apostle Paul admonished that if the hands say unto the foot, and he was using this metaphorically, the hands say unto the foot, I have no need of thee. Or the arm say unto the leg, I have no need of thee. All right? When a person starts to think in their own head, they're invincible, everybody else is wrong and they're right, and right in their own eyes. And many times, people that get hurt, they don't realize that they're self-sabotaging their own happiness.
Yeah.
There is no need for a lot. 3/4, 7/8 of the pain that's in their life, they are self-inflicting, and yet they want to place the blame on others for it. No, we all need to, as Jesus said, examine ourselves, look in the mirror, cast the beam out of our own eye before we try and take the speck out of our brother's eye. See? So if we're all doing that, and if we're all humble, then it's not so hard to say, all right, well, maybe I disagree with you, but if I offended you in any way, I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to hurt you, and if you're perceiving it as hurt, that is not what I was doing. And when you say to someone or do things that you say are constructive and out of love, and you clarify that right up front, and they still claim that you're hurting them. These are people throughout life, in business, in personal, whatever, that are they're their own worst enemy. And that's sad.
Well, you know what, Pete? I see it every day. There's just no value in life. People don't value human life the way they should. There's no compassion. There's no humanity and compassion for life and respect for each other. It's got to come together, man.
In the wrong things. They place their values in the wrong things. Materialistic things, or this or that or the other. And Jesus said, what profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? So all the cars and the mansions and money and this and that doesn't mean anything. I was offered to live out in Hollywood long ago. And people thought I should have had my brains picked. Are you kidding? I said, no, I do not need to live like with 18 mansions and fancy.
Stay a simple man, brother.
I live
That's
simple.
all. Got to be simple.
Stay a simple man.
And of course, you always want to improve. You know, you want nice things and this and that. But when you lust after or make that your idol, or you feel like, that's why many of them in Hollywood, and I'm not knocking Hollywood per se, but that's why they call it Tinseltown, because most of them do not know how to separate the real life from the acting.
Yeah.
I do my acting.
Power, greed, money.
I do my acting on the stage and on the screen. This is real life. You see?
I tell you guys, we got 1 minute, man. And
Okay.
this is our first hour special. I'm Sabella. I appreciate you. I'd like you to get the last word in.
Okay.
You know, to send a message out there. I'd like you to explain to people how to get a hold of you.
All right.
And I'd also like to thank you for coming on and being on Direction of the Heart, brother. And I can't wait to meet with you.
That's great.
Thank you for introducing me to Tom. I love you, man.
Mike, we're have you on and your knowledge and experience and to have you as a colleague and as a brother in Christ. So thank you.
You're an inspiration to us, Tom.
Oh, absolutely.
Great. I enjoyed this much. I'm honored that it went to an hour. If an artist would want to find my podcast, you go to page2management.com and click on the podcast link. We're everywhere. Or just Google Page 2 Management, the business side of music, Tom Sabella. I study how to be number one in Google, so I've done a good job at that. My passion is to help artists from getting taken. So take a look at it. Guys, I love this show. When we can do it again, if you're in Nashville, either one of you, holler at me.
Absolutely.
We'll make it happen.
We'll get together. We will meet. God will make it happen.
Absolutely. It'll happen sometime real soon.
I'm sure.
Tom, God bless you and your family, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah.
And I tell you, man, we're on a journey, brother. And
we're all Italian, and we would have plenty to talk about.
Hey. Well, next show will be 2 hours. 2 hours different.
I remember, Tom, I said if our throats get tired or whatever, we could always talk with our hands.
That's on our hands.
Hey, come on.
Capisce, huh? Love you, man. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. God bless you.
Rock and roll.
God bless.